He's back in town. It's the Dressing Gown Diaries. I'm Lloyd, and here we are with the 2017 Six Nations first round preview. Lots going on. Clearly, all teams fancy their chances at the moment. Even Italy think they might turn over a couple of teams, having beaten South Africa in the autumn series for the first time ever. Scotland fancy their chances. They showed some improvement. They scored tries against Australia, securing a great win. They have opportunities. And then you move on to the bigger teams. Well, France showed some guts and determination against New Zealand. What will they come up against this year? Wales had one of the most successful statistically with wins autumn series for a long time. But yet they came under pressure from the public with the manner of which they're playing their rugby. Can they progress during the Six Nations? And obviously, Ireland, who probably had the best autumn internationals, beating New Zealand for the first time ever in Chicago, and then nearly turning them over in Dublin. They'll fancy their chances, but there are some heavy injuries for the Irish to cope with. And then without doubt, I regret to say this, but England, on the back of 14 wins, go into this championship as favourites. Now, the Six Nations this year has also had added spice because, as we know, it's a Lions year. So there are opportunities for players to really demonstrate and get on that plane. I mean, I'm sure now if you ask me to name a starting lineup, it would be nowhere like that when they kick off in New Zealand in late June. But certainly it adds added tension and focus for all of the players to really get down to the nitty-gritty and show the skill set. So this weekend it kicks off. It all starts at Murrayfield with Scotland hosting Ireland. Ireland, on the back of some heavy injuries, certainly Johnny Sexton out, makes this a little bit of a challenge for me. Scotland have confidence in the way they're playing. They're clearly at home. But let's look at some stats here. Scotland haven't won the first international of a Six Nations series since 2006. This is the 10th anniversary of that. Now, they've also, in the last 5 years, they've got a 20% win rate. You know, this is a team that can do so much more. And with Vern Cotter's last Six Nations to go at, I'm expecting better things. How do we see it going, though? Look, Ireland have still probably got enough, even with the injuries. It's the first weekend. It'll be a tight game, probably tighter than people anticipate. But I still think Ireland will get up. Moving on to the second game of the weekend. England are hosting France. Twickenham's going to be alive with atmosphere as much as you ever get at Twickenham. Certainly, I'll be there representing France, because you know I can't really support England, regrettably. But being hosted by not so many beers, Jim, and his lovely son Max. So certainly looking forward to that trip. But England will look to play the same aggressive brand of rugby they've been playing for the last year. They're looking to move the ball. There are certainly some injuries they've had, but England do have a large squad, so they should be able to absorb those. I mean, we ask these questions all these time. What type of French team will show up? Again, no one knows. No one has any idea. They showed some progress in the autumn, played pretty well against New Zealand. So we shall see. I certainly don't think this will be a pushover for England, but England should still have enough to get up by probably 10-ish, maybe a touch more. We'll see what happens, whether Itoje playing at 6 is a sensible move. Elliot Daly on the wing. You know, last time we played there, he got sent off. We'll see what happens. It's certainly something to look forward to. And then the last game of the weekend, Italy host Wales in the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. The Stadio Olimpico has not been such a controversial venue for Wales, in the fact that the Stadio Fluminense saw some big controversy a few years, 10 years back. James Hook had a penalty in front of the post with the score at 23-20. Asked the referee whether there was enough time for a line out. Kicked the ball out for a line out. The referee blew the whistle. Italy won 23-20. Lots of people standing around go, "What has just happened there? I don't understand." Italy, first win against South Africa, strong autumn, but then they followed it up with a loss to Tonga. And that's probably where Italian rugby really is at the moment. Blow hot and cold, Parisi back in action. They'll be hoping to keep it tight and maybe nick a win. Wales with Rob Howley. He hasn't really made any wholesale changes, far from it. It's a pretty steady team, and it'll be interesting to see whether Wales try to play a bit more expansively. The last time they played in Rome, George North scored a hat-trick in about 3 minutes at the Bonanza weekend, where tries were scored all over the place. I'm not expecting to see an open game. Now, on that actually, Let's just talk a little bit about the change of structure that the Six Nations sees this year. We've now got the bonus point situation in play. So for those that don't know, if you score 4 tries or more, you secure an extra point. And if you can score a losing bonus point by losing by less than 7 points. Now, Eddie Jones has come out saying, well, if you play well, you win anyway. That is the point. One of the issues that have always been surrounding the Six Nations, and maybe it's the time of year, the first 2 weekends are always so tentative. No one really wants to make a mistake and risk it. Will this open teams up? I think it won't open teams up initially. I think you might see teams going for that losing bonus point, though. If they're close enough, they're 10 points out, 14 points out, they might push ahead. So it might create some interest in those mismatch games where the game appears to be lost already, but perhaps they can push ahead. As for the 4 tries, well, England are certainly scoring tries, and so are Ireland. The challenge is whether the other teams can match them and open up. It's certainly been a problem with Wales with their stunted attack. See how that progresses. So how do I see it? Well, I see it actually being quite a tight game with Italy. Wales have enough, but Freddie's flutter for this weekend is actually back Italy, who are plus 12.5 in the handicap. Back Italy. I think it's going to be much tighter than that. Wales will have enough to win, but the scoreline won't flatter either team. So look, this is the Dressing Gown Diary. I'm Lloyd. You have a lovely time. Please go ahead and watch your 6 halves of rugby over the weekend, and we'll catch you for a review show. Thanks very much.